What's going on? We back. We are Women in Linux. What's going on with everybody? Sorry we ended so soon on the other show. D said it was long, but I had to get it out. You know, that's what D said. Potato, potato, right? Um, we're back for our second show. A little bit more detail on investments, but really centered around a lot of technology as well too. But I still have some other stuff I want to finish out from the last show. But it's gonna be a mix. Um, the nobody where I need to erase that comment. Let me erase it. What's going on, the geek surgeon? What's going? I'm gonna say Kate. Is that correct? Kait. Let me know if I said that right. Shari, what's going on? Kelvin, has everybody been studying? Are y'all on your way to 200K at least? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kate. Are y'all on your way to 200 at least? Is that what we're working on? What's going on, Bill? Big Bad Bull, what's up? Afternoon. It's afternoon now. I can say afternoon. Morning, afternoon, whatever. What's going on, D? D didn't want to come to the stage this week. She said she's not feeling well. It's D in the bed. Security Plus. I hear Terraform. Yep, doctor. No, it's okay. We forgive you for your absence, but you know that's what we do on Wednesdays too, right? Yep, there'll be more recruiters coming. Um, not sure when though. I got some lined up. I got some other stuff lined up too. D said, "Why am I not feeling well?" Tamika. Well, I don't know, D. Why are you not feeling well? Do you want to tell them why you're not feeling well, D? You don't have to come on screen. You know, you can talk in the background. Sorry, like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Why are you not feeling well, D? D's not feeling well. I don't know what she's feeling. She said she's still for whatnot. But yep, she did. She hit a deer. The minivan is I say the minivan is gone, but that's what I say. The insurance company thinks has another idea. Oh, where is it at? Mm, let's see. Is it in here? No, it ain't in here. I thought it was. Hold on. I'm looking. Hold on. I don't know if she didn't get hurt or not. Hold on. 1 second. That's what it looked like now. That's what it looks like now. And this is what it looked like the night of. Hmm, It's the night of. Right. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Everybody was saying that you should have grabbed it and threw it on the back of the truck. I don't know. If I hit something, I can't eat it. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not a venison fan, right? Oh, on the open highway, Tammy, it's 75 out there on the open highway out there when the open. It's 75. 70, 75. They be wide open. Yeah, they be wide open. Did y'all enjoy the last show? Did y'all enjoy the last show? I hope so. I really dug into it some. I mean, I got a lot of stuff, but I if you get a chance, I will go watch the Steve Harvey clip that was there. That was a good clip. All right, so if you don't know who you are, we're Women in Linux. I am Tamika Reed. D is in the background. Bambi is not here with us today. Um, Shout out to Bambi. All right, so D's in the back. Yep. And if you want to find us on social media, including Clubhouse, you can find us at Women in Linux on social media. And I think there's a TikTok out there. I don't know. I ain't played with it yet. So find us on website womeninlinux.org. Hit connect if you want to connect with us after this stream, and hit us up in the Slack. Or you'll find recruiters, you'll find jobs, you'll find I haven't done any giveaways in our Slack group inside the channel. I did do it in bid a couple of times where I given away like $1,000 to someone to help them start their business, get their LLC going. I haven't done that in a while. Hmm, Maybe I'll do that one day. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it on the stream. I don't know. Hmm And if you want to donate with us, you can donate with your time, you can donate with money, you can click here on donate and then click donate now. Takes you to the web page where you can donate with us. If you are not sure about where else to find us, you can go to meetup.com/women in Linux. If you are um, in our meetup, we meet every Wednesday. Right now, we're switching it to 8 o'clock versus 7 o'clock. Um, and that goes from 8 to 10, where we talk about RHCSA and everything else and so forth and so on. Right. If you are looking to do a one-on-one, we'll probably be opening up those this week. Me and D gonna have a discussion, and then we'll open up the one-on-ones this week. A lot of people been hitting me up like, when is that gonna happen? That's gonna happen this week, so be prepared for those. Because they do go quick. We probably should open them up. Let's see. We should probably open up March and April. We should probably open them up for the next 2 months. Um, just to make sure that's open for everybody. What's going on, Zoe? How are you doing? Did you have a spot of tea this morning, Zoe? All right. So that's what we'll be doing. this week, right? There's no guest that I know of this week, but that could change at any moment in time. Somebody might hit me up tonight and be like, "I want to be on the show," and I'll be like, "All right, yeah, you're on." Oh, we do have someone coming up to talk about quantum computing, though. We do have that coming up. I did talk about last week sans.org. If you went to HBCU, and sans.org is giving out they're doing scholarships for HBCU. Let me do this for current and alumni at HBCU. It's for current. Let me go back because it's both. It's the current people and an alumni. Current within there. You got an online assessment. It closes March 1st, so hurry up, get your get yourself in there if you are a HBCU student or alumni. Right. They also have other scholarships. You can go here and you can look at scholarship academies. Cyber Workforce, HBCU Women's, Virginia, Vet Success, Cyber Diversity, and so forth, right? So they have a ton of different ways to get in. Here is the Women's Academy. Um, eligibility requirements. Senior in college pursuing ID, a college graduate, a career changer must be a U.S. citizen. Graduates currently pursuing or having achieved a master's or PhD in information security or are not eligible to apply. If you're currently working in the information security field or prior work experience for information security, blah 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 blah. This also says you are not eligible to supply. Right? They're trying to get to the people that don't have it. So I get it. Vet success. CompTIA has theirs too. I have to pull up CompTIA and what they have. All right. We're at 26 people. That's pretty good. I'm all right with that. All right. Let's start off with Pinky. Y'all know? Do y'all know who Pinky Cole is? Does anybody? Do y'all know who she is? Do y'all know who Pinky Cole is? You about to find out. Drop in the chat. I'm gonna see if anybody know. D should know who Pinky is. D should know. D. Yes, yes, yes. Let's go.
Welcome back. Well, with menu items like fussy hussy and one night stand, our next guest is a fast casual restaurateur who knows how to get your attention before the food ever hits the table.
Hold on. I'm gonna say this too. She made everything awkward to me in this video. Not Pinky, but this reporter here. She made it all kind of awkward. That's just my take on it. I was just like, oh, dry bones. They need somebody with charisma doing these videos sometimes. All right.
Joining us as part of Black History Month series is our next guest, Pinky Cole, vegan restaurateur, along with Yahoo Finance's Brooke De Palma. Thank you both for being here. Pinky, so you've got a few locations in the Atlanta area serving vegan food. First of all, tell everyone the name of your restaurant because I think it's amazing. It's something that when you hear, you definitely won't forget. And then why vegan and why Atlanta? Because the two things don't necessarily conjure up something that would come together, but you made it work. And
first off, this is not a reaction video. But why wouldn't vegan and Atlanta go together? Why wouldn't vegan and Atlanta go together? Like, what? You can't be vegan in Atlanta or something like that. I get it. You get a mix of food in Atlanta. Like, what you talking about? I'm on my rant.
Community came behind you.
Well, first of all, hopefully I can say this on TV, but it's called Slutty Vegan. And unless you've been living under a rock, Slutty Vegan is a 100% plant-based burger joint that started in 2018 and became a worldwide phenomenon. We have locations in Atlanta, but we literally help people to reimagine food. You know, when you think about starting a vegan concept in the heart of the South in Atlanta, it's typically unheard of in this capacity. But what I was able to do was craft an experience around community and people and food that made me have lines down the block for the last 4 years. And it's been an amazing roller coaster ride. We create ecosystems around people and provide opportunity for people, and they get to have a good time while eating good food at the same time.
Pinky, now historically, it's quite hard for women of color to get funding to start, their endeavors like you did. Now, you did self-fund the first location of Slutty Vegan, but for many Black women, the average seed round for Black female entrepreneurs in 2020 was $125,000. Now, that's far less from the national average of $2.5 million. There's a huge gap there. What do you think needs to be done in order to close that gap?
I think that I myself, I am being a change that I wish to see. Once upon a time, Black women especially weren't even considered for opportunities to get an injection of capital. But now with everything that's happening in the world, we are finally getting our due and our recognition. And I'm showing people that as long as you continue to rise up and you have a valuable business that's sustainable and you have a really good model that people want to be a part of, you will get the money. And that does not have anything to do with color. Because at the end of the day, if you have something that's viable, that's successful, people are going to want to attach themselves to you. So here I am as a successful Black woman, a recipient of an injection of capital that's coming up. And I can honestly guarantee you that I'm not getting the money just because I'm a Black woman that needed an opportunity. I'm getting the money because I created a damn good business that people know, love, and respect, and they want to see it win in a major way.
More power to you there. I want to talk to you.
She breezed over that. More power to you there. But I just like how she dispelled in her own words what they always are talking about. Oh my goodness, you guys are running the victim Olympics and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're always talking about race. No, she said what she said. And she was like, well, okay, I'm not going to say anything. More power to you there. She might as well just not said nothing and like, oh, awesome job or like great. But again, like I said, this reporter didn't have enthusiasm. She didn't bring in the enthusiasm when she was after she got through talking. I'm gonna play it again. What she said like that. It made me mad when I was looking at it. Just to be honest with you, but let me play it again.
Women especially weren't even considered for opportunities to get an injection of capital. But now with everything that's happening in the world, we are finally getting our due and our recognition. And I'm showing people that as long as you continue to rise up and you have a valuable business that's sustainable and you have a really good model that people want to be a part of, you will get the money. And that does not have anything to do with color. Because at the end of the day, if you have something that's viable, that's successful, people are going to want to attach themselves to you. So here I am as a successful Black woman, a recipient of an injection of capital that's coming up. And I can honestly guarantee you that I'm not getting the money just because I'm a Black woman that needed an opportunity. I'm getting the money because I created a damn good business that people know, love, and respect, and they want to see it win in a major way.
More power to you there. I want to talk to you about your Pinky Cole Foundation. Why did you decide to come up with it? And then what are some of the obstacles that you have faced?
So I started the foundation in 2019, and it was really a way to formalize me giving up my money because I love to help people, and I get that from my mom. But I help to bridge the generational wealth gap. And it's not just about food, it's about mind, body, and spirit. So we've done so much through the foundation. I've partnered with the Department of Juvenile Justice to provide jobs for second chance juveniles. I partnered with Impossible Foods and Jermaine Dupree to get people excited about the last voting election that just happened. And I think that we played a really big part in turning Georgia blue. I've also contributed in donating, paying the rents for 30 college students in Atlanta so that they can walk across the stage. I've paid the rents for local businesses in Atlanta. I've given out thousands of pounds of fruits and vegetables. And most recently, my partner and I, Derek Hayes, we are now providing 25,000 Black men in Atlanta with life insurance that they do not have to pay for. We're footing the bill. We partner with Prudential Life Insurance to make sure that men in Atlanta have life insurance so that they can learn about financial literacy, mental health, and all the good stuff that we really don't talk about in our community. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is and really doing the work. And it's at the core of who we are as an organization. And that's a part of the reason why Slutty Vegan is still successful.
And Pinky, what you're doing is absolutely incredible. But you started with a mission just to get plant-based protein more notice, more mainstream. And so when we spoke to you back in May, you said it may take 10 years for the majority of America to try plant-based options. Do you think it'll still take 10 years?
No, I take that back. I think with the trajectory that we're moving in right now, we have a really good opportunity to get more people excited. And what does that take to happen? It takes us infusing the business into the culture and entertainment. It makes sense to make sure that people are aware and helping them to open up their consciousness with opening up more Slutty Vegans. I believe that we are in a progressive space in America now where people want to live better, mind, body, and spirit. And if we could start with the food element to help people to reimagine food, I honestly believe that it can take 5 years or less.
All right, thank you so much for that. I've got to tell you, I was researching this story last night and I was telling Brooke, I need one of those locations in my neighborhood because I wanted one so bad. Pinky Cole. In Manhattan on the Upper East Side. So plan on one there, please. Can't wait to try it. We will leave it there. We will leave it there for right now. Pinky Cole, vegan restaurateur. I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant, but everyone knows it now. We all know what it is. Thank you so much for your time, along with Brooke DePalma.
Awkward. Okay, so in that video, let me go back because I wanted you, I don't know if you were paying attention like I was, but you noticed the board right here, right? In the board, so she's got where she purposely planted what I'm opening up without saying I'm opening up. if you paid attention, so she's opening up New York, I guess this may be Columbus, Ohio, Charlotte, Baltimore, DC, Philly, Chattanooga, Nashville, and I don't know what was right here at the bottom, and then LA and Oakland. I don't know if that's Tampa or she done wiped Tampa off. That looked like it might have been Tampa and she wiped it off. I don't know, maybe somebody brushed up against the board. But these are opening up in 2022. So she got a huge injection of capital. That means she has a model that she's following. She has a template that she's going to follow. That means they've scouted out locations as well too. So it depends on where she's opening up at in those cities. But again, it's a model that she's following. And she didn't have to say where she was opening up at. She just put it on the board and let it flow from there for itself. Right? Did y'all peep that? Right? I thought this was a dope interview. I thought the interview that they did with Steve Harvey was another good interview. There are several interviews that I watched that were really good interviews. And that other lady wasn't on there. She just makes it so awkward when you're doing it. She makes it so awkward when she was doing some of the videos. But yeah, this was a good interview. And I like what she stated. I like the mission that she's on. Again, like I say, you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? We don't have to be in this game alone. We could do it together. And this is just one of the examples that I wanted to give. Another one was Steve Harvey that I want to give as well too. All right, so I'm gonna state some numbers here, and I just want to see if you know these things. Do you know who Marcia Fudge is? Do you know who Marcia Fudge is? And do you know who was in the office before Marcia Fudge? right? Who is Marcia Fudge? All right, I'm gonna lay it on you. Give you Marcia Fudge. Let me go. I got some other stuff, but I want to pull her up here so you can see her face. Then I'll bring the screen over. All right, here's Marcia Fudge. She's the secretary of HUD, right? She just did an interview on the Breakfast Club, and I hadn't finished the whole interview yet, but I wanted to talk about some stuff that that actually came out of part of what I was reading, and I mean what I was listening to, and then also part of what I had been reading too. But I need to get back to finishing this interview. Pull out some takeaways. The person who was in front, who was in office before her was Ben Carson. Do you know what Ben Carson did? He's the one who created the opportunity zones in the predominantly black neighborhood. I should say. Let me not say predominantly black neighborhood, in the underserved communities, as people like to say. Um, what does that mean? Well, in the video, she talks about it. She talks about how the opportunity zones got created, but who had the ability to take advantage of those opportunity zones were the people who didn't have capital, were the people who were not educated on what the opportunity zones were, and the people who didn't even know that they was living or even had the ability to purchase in opportunity zones. So again, it wasn't us, right? So what has she done in the first 10 months? And then I bring in I will watch like the first couple of parts of the video, but I have here what I've taken away from that. All right. So in her first 10 months on the job, she's launched a national partnership to rehouse homeless people, making help make a federally funded low interest home loans more accessible, and withdrew the Trump rule that changed that would have allowed federal housing shelters to discriminate based upon gender and identity. Or I mean, I shouldn't say gender and identity, but gender identity. She also traveled to more than 30 cities and held hundreds of meetings with lawmakers, local policymakers, community leaders, urging them to use their power to create more access and more accessibility to affordable housing. She's like, I'm talking to anyone that would listen. Uh, she said, every speech I give, every meeting I'm in, I talk about it in terms to affordable housing and accessibility. All right. So, of course, like in true fashion, if you're a politician, they're going to always pull up your net worth. They did a comparison. Here's how much HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge is worth. FUD owns real estate and government pensions and that make up to 2 million estimated net worth. She's after 4 decades in public service, Marcia Fudge, Joe Biden's Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, is not filthy rich, but is certainly comfortable, worth an estimated 2 million. Now, here's a question: how would you help her get her net worth up? What would you make a suggestion for her? What suggestions would you make for her? Right? Her portfolio is concentrated in real estate, in residential real estate, fitting for a HUD secretary. Fudge owns 4 homes, 3 in Warrensville Heights, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, where she served as mayor from 2000 to 2008. She carries mortgages on 2 of the properties. On her most recent financial disclosure report filed in December, Fudge Fudge said she rented one of the houses, collecting less than $15,000 in 2019 and 2020 for doing so. Here's Ben Carson at $20 million, and here's Marcia Fudge. Right. The HUD Secretary has a pretty plain portfolio consisting of 2 pensions, a retirement account, 4 homes, and a couple of cash accounts. Some breeds, I don't know what did she do with all that money. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I haven't followed up the story on like detail about who she is and everything. So maybe give me some type of context there, right? So that's about her, right? So let's get to the video. There's some important key points that being worth 20 million. Being worth 20 million.
Live streaming can be
hold on.
tricky, and sometimes trying to find the right software to.
And lastly, I think that it is a
Let's start over.
Angela Yee, Charlemagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
We have the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Marcia Fudge. Welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
How are you feeling today?
I feel wonderful.
Absolutely.
Are you?
I am blessed, black, and highly favored.
I like it.
Well, you have a lot of work to do.
I do. I do. But I've been looking forward to this.
Okay.
Well, for people that don't know, what is the job of the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development?
Primarily, our mission is to make sure that people, especially underserved communities, get decent housing. It's just really that simple. In addition to which, we are the voice of cities across America because we are the people who provide Black grant dollars, home dollars, all of the things that help them create an environment in which people can live safely in their own community. So in a nutshell, that's really pretty much it.
This is the position that Ben Carson had prior to you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so he created the opportunity zones while he was there. What do you think about that? Because I've heard conflicting accounts of whether or not that's beneficial for.
I think it has a potential to be beneficial. I don't think that it was probably used to its best and highest use. And so as a consequence, people who were the big developers and the people who had the big money got all the money, as opposed to making sure that it did what it was intended to do, which was to make sure that people had an opportunity to create jobs and to do development in their communities and not just have people come in with the biggest dollar.
It didn't necessarily help Black people. It helped people who had money that was able to get some of those tax breaks and opportunities on. So at first, everybody thought it was just for Black people. Oh, Black people, but it was for people to get breaks. And I didn't think it was great for our people because usually we're the ones that don't have the money.
It's people who could afford
You sound like
to
Mr.
invest.
Clyburn. That's what Mr. Clyburn felt
No,
too.
you said it in a way that you just said it nicer than what I said it.
Yep. Say it.
Absolutely right. We did not benefit from the opportunity zones in a way that we should have. Very few people did. They didn't create a lot of jobs, and we didn't get the resources that we should have.
So how do you fix it moving forward, or do you abandon it?
Oh, I don't think so. I think that we do the assessment that we are now doing to determine how we can make it better. I think that once you have something like that that has the potential to really help our people, then you don't just throw it out.
And that's not the first time. Like they had legislation like that before, right? It just wasn't called opportunity zone.
Right. It was called empowerment zones.
Empowerment zones.
Close. But empowerment zones were really very different because at the time,
Ms. Fudge, I just need you to put the mic a little closer so we can.
at the time, we made sure that people in our communities received those resources. You will find Black businesses today that will say to you that they became millionaires because of empowerment zones. We've not created any Black millionaires from the federal government in a very long time. So we have to find a way to increase not just the opportunity, but we have to be intentional about making sure that Black people get a piece of the pie. So as we look at what we do at HUD, and we're looking at this now across all of government, we're increasing at least by 50% the participation in our purchasing. It's going to be $100 billion over the next 5 years. And we're making sure that our people get a piece of that pie. And that's what I think all of it should be about.
How are we making sure of that?
Well, because we have been directed actually by the president to increase our purchasing with small and minority-owned businesses. When you think about how much money we spend as a government, if we just start to include more 8A, more small businesses, more Black-owned women businesses, we're going to create an environment in which people can really benefit off the largesse of the government. Because right now, it's not our people getting it.
How do we ensure that?
Boom. All right. So let me give you my initial takeaway. All right. And then we're gonna get into some numbers and we're gonna get into some facts. All right. All right. $100 billion in purchasing power over the next 5 years. 100, and I'll go over this. I'll play this so you can get, like I said, I have not finished this video. This is just my initial takeaway right here, right? $100 billion in purchasing power. You can't, if you don't have a company, you're not gonna be able to be in you're not in the game, right? So you need to create your LLCs. We talked about those DAOs this morning. What does that look like? There's going to be some type of purchasing agreement coming out of that. You mark my words, it may not be right now, but mark my words, there's going to be stuff down the future for that. 150 billion for housing. There's going to be 40 to 50 billion dollars put into public housing. There's going to be a rezoning, right? There's going to be a rezoning. That's important, right? They're invested in 3D printed homes and tiny homes as an affordable housing concept. 100K in housing for the next 3 years. And I just wanted to bring this up, and it's going to go into my other point a little bit later. 40% of the homeless people are Black. I repeat, 40% of the homeless are Black. But it doesn't compare to what that is for whites. Whites are also outnumber Blacks in terms of homelessness as well too. And I'm going to bring those stats up as well. All right. So let's get back to the video.
And how do we ensure that we don't get just looked over? And, a lot of times, even with the president, you say stuff now, and then when it gets down to it, it's like, oh, well, we just can't get it done at the time, because this is a big thing. And a lot of our people are starting to get into real estate. They're starting to buy properties. They're starting to open small businesses. But, like with the opportunity zones and a lot of other grants, but if we can't get a loan, we can't get a loan, or if we don't know what we're doing, or we're having hard times, or we're getting hit with taxes. And then when you look at companies like a Google or Amazon, and they don't pay taxes. So how do we make sure that our people can catch up?
You put people like me in charge. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. I mean, elections have consequences.
Correct.
So if you put the right people in place, it will get done. I don't expect the president to make sure that I'm doing my job every day. He has directed us what to do. I'm going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to make sure that you have the right players in place to make it work. That's the only way you can guarantee it.
I want to ask them about the origin of HUD. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't HUD a response to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.?
Well, HUD became an agency where we passed the Fair Housing Act in 1968. Mm-hmm. It came out of the Civil Rights Movement, mm-hmm. as did all of those Great Society programs, whether it be education, housing. All of those came out of Great Society. Mm-hmm. After the Civil Rights Movement, after the Voting Rights Act was passed, Civil Rights Act, this was the next series of things to say, let's try to right the ship. We have been mistreating Black people and poor people for far too long. Mm-hmm. Let's look at a way to try to make it, to level the playing field. Mm-hmm. So you're right, absolutely right.
Okay.
Now, this is a really complicated time because of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And it directly affects, obviously, what you do for people when it comes to housing. We've seen so many people having to deal with rents going up and prices of homes going up. So what are some things that can be implemented? And I want you to also talk about the Build Back Better plan, which we're still struggling to see how we can get any of that passed.
Well, look, can I start there? I'm going to start with Build Back Better. Mm-hmm. In the Build Back Better Act, there is currently $150 billion set aside just to do housing. So of that amount, probably about 40 to 50 billion will just go to make public housing decent again. We have disinvested in communities for far too long. About 20 years ago, HUD's budget was about 7% of the entire federal budget. Today, it is 1%. So we have disinvested in our communities. We have stopped building housing, but in that plan, there's more than $100 million to do down payment assistance. Mm-hmm. There is what we call housing trust money to lower the cost. We are raising the cap on low-income housing tax credits. We are working on zoning. We're doing a lot of things to make it easier and less expensive to build, whether it be 3D printing, whether it be tiny homes, whatever it is.
So this is the thing too, right? As Abel, so you say why she lying, she used the term minorities, which means everybody. Here's the other thing too that we gotta also look at too, is we need to also look at like when these contracts come out to build. Like we got to get on the construction side of it. We need to also be looking at state and state and local as well too when their contracts come out. Looking at economic development plans for different cities. I pulled this up before. Let's go. Let's just do economic development plan for Memphis. Let's pick a random city. And let's see, here it is right here. I'm pull this over. Oops, hold on. I had it over there. Hold on. I'll put it towards the end here. Oh man, I keep moving it off my screen. My bad. Hold on, I'm coming back. I just want to get it at the edge. Right there. All right. So this is for memphistomorrow.org. This is their economic development plan. Target industry. Memphis Tomorrow is one of 5 partners, including the City of Memphis Edge, the Epic Center, and Memphis Chamber of Commerce, currently participating in research and planning project to identify job and industry growth in the Memphis area. The project involves analyzing regional and national and global industry growth data, documenting key competitive advantages for Memphis area. Every one of your cities has one of these economic development plans. If you're not aware of these, go look at the city you're in and look it up. Look and see what they're doing, because again, they're also getting federal funding in order to grow. There are people coming in, such as developers or people with big funds or hedge funds coming in. There are tax incentives. There are tax benefits centered around this. All right. So you need to be aware of what's going on in your city. You're paying your taxes in that city, but you don't know what's going on. Right. All right. So here I'm just, this is just me casually looking at Memphis. I'm not saying go buy Memphis or nothing like that. I just picked a random city and we just looking at it, right? I know when Memphis Tomorrow, companies invested in and supported BioWorks Foundation in the launch of new venture capital firm Inova. 0 to 510. Memphis companies also supported BioWorks in founding and operation of 0 to 510 medical device accelerator. AG launch sounds like agricultural to me. Information 10 bioagricultural efforts. Minority business incubator, loan fund and supplier diversity initiative. Memphis companies invested $3 million in minority business incubator. Memphis Development Center, Memphis Chamber of Commerce business Memphis Chamber of Commerce business recruitment and expansion, right? And this is just on their page, but you can get into more of how it works and so forth, right? And then, like I said, they got other initiatives as well too, right? Memphis 3.0 brand initiative, like when you're going through airports, how are things? You know who? I don't know how many of y'all been on American Airlines in the past 3 years? How many been on American Airlines in the past 3 years? I know I have. right? And you always see this commercial on their flights, and it is a commercial for for a housing development in Florida, in Sarasota, called Lakewood Ranch. You always see somebody, they're running, they're doing tennis, they have this, they have that. It's Lakewood Ranch, it's in Sarasota. And it didn't matter if you were even coming from, if you were going to Florida or not, you always saw this development, right? Again, this goes back to brand awareness, right? Branding cities. We talked about Wyoming, talking about branding your city. What is your city known for? Right? It can't be just a crawfish festival. It can't be just a crawfish festival, right? All right. Lakewood Ranch, come celebrate good times. It's Lakewood Ranch and American Airlines. Let me look that up. They always got the commercial for Lakewood Ranch and American Airlines commercial. Yeah, let me look at partners. Let me look at partnership. It's always on. I'm like, man, they are bigging up this Lakewood Ranch. Like they big this thing up. It's super big. You're always on there. You're like, they're like Lakewood Ranch. What a good place to play and live. Blah 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 blah. Right? But again, it's a. Let me pull up a map so you can see exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about Lakewood Ranch um, development. Let me show you the map so you can see how big this this plan was. Um, and it's huge. It's a huge development. All right. So, years in the making, a 2050 goal, Lakewood Ranch set to expand southward. It's already expanding. That was 2016. Okay. Yeah. So they expanded, right? Let me see if they got a newer one because it's super huge. What you're looking at right there doesn't even touch what that planned development looks like. And when I say planned development, we're talking about food, we're talking about banks, we're talking about activities, we're talking about after school, we're talking about different programs, we're talking about not just HOAs, what is it called? CCDs. We're talking about medical care. Hey, I need to go to the doctor. How active are you? To walk, live, run, type of lifestyle. When I look at black subdivisions and stuff that get built, we'll never have no sidewalks. Everybody just walking on the street. They got sidewalks. There's we get speed. We get what's it called? Road bumps. What's those speed bumps in the middle of the road and stuff like that for people to slow down? They just post and put up little things to slow you down, like a little, hey, you're going 10 miles over, little flashy lights, right? There's a different way that neighborhoods get done. I know they're expensive, but damn it, can we get a sidewalk? Why we gotta always walk in the street and step up on somebody's grass, right? Why we can't get a sidewalk? Jesus. Um, like we just don't get sidewalks. I mean, look, and I know about Lakewood Ranch because I worked in Lakewood Ranch. I was going there every day for damn near 7 years. So I know about Lakewood Ranch. I know exactly what's in Lakewood Ranch. I know what's around that area. I know the growth. I know I understand what the grocery stores would look like, what you could get in the grocery stores. Like, for example, if I went to the grocery store, if I went to Publix, and I get out and people and the guy would see me pulling in, he would come meet me at my car with the grocery, with the cart, and walk me into the store and like, hey, did you want me to go run that for you or what have you? Or when I get up to the door, he's there to greet me with a cart or whatnot. When I get ready to leave, you don't tip them. I think with Publix, you can't tip them. That's not okay. When you go park at Sarasota Airport, when you're at the airport, you don't walk your stuff up to the front door. The guy comes actually to the car and picks you up in the parking lot and takes you to the terminal, and helps you get your stuff in and out your car. They don't. That's again, y'all may want to call it's for the old folks or whatnot. I like that shit. I like that. Come pick my stuff up out of the car. Come yes, I want white glove service. Yes. Yes. Why we always gotta be lugging our stuff everywhere, trying to run through the airport or whatnot. And then if you running late, he'll be like, well, let me call up to the desk to make sure that they don't let your plane leave the terminal and whatnot. It ain't long line. Like, y'all get abused in Atlanta. Y'all been getting abused, right? You ride around on your golf court, on your golf cart and all that. I'm not saying that it's for everybody. What I'm simply saying is this: there's a way that we can create our communities and have the same type of, I don't want to necessarily call them luxuries, let's say the same options. Right, where we got sidewalks that we walk down, where we got a chance to pull up for the person to come get our bags and take them up there. Why we always got to be running and stuff like that, right? Just different type of lifestyle. When we start talking about I don't know. I know probably other cities do this First Fridays, where your First Fridays, everybody, they block off the street and everybody come out and everybody's out for First Friday, eating, drinking. It's Florida. You walk up and down the street with beer or margarita or what have you, right? They do it in downtown St. Pete. They do it. I don't know. Do they do it in Tampa? Do they have First Fridays in Tampa? I don't know. Belle, D, tell me. Do they have First Fridays in Tampa? I don't know. But again, why we can't have that? I'm just asking. Why we can't have stuff like that? Right? Why we gotta be the ones that are like, well, we're gonna build the house and we ain't gonna give you no sidewalk. In fact, we're not gonna even give you a garage. Who wants a house without a garage? Why the houses gotta be built without a garage? Why I gotta park outside? Why I gotta suffer? It's raining pellets and bullets. Why I gotta suffer? Why? Just asking. All right. So let's get back to it.
That ass up in the morning.
Yeah, it is. It started over on
businesses today that will say to you that they became millionaires.
It's this link. It's right here. Here we go.
We are doing. And the other thing that we're doing, and that we already have been doing, is setting aside resources now to build up to 100,000 houses over the next few years by working with state housing finance agencies, by creating home programs that are flexible. And lastly, I think that it is important, especially for us, as we talk about housing. Just in the last week, we did a point in time count, which is what we call it, about homelessness. People don't realize that about 40% of the homeless people in this country are Black. Mm-hmm. And that there is a growing number of them who are families with children and senior citizens. And so in the rescue plan, there is $10 billion to deal with housing just for homeless. So if you take the housing money for the homeless, you take the resources we're putting in already in the budget, and then add on that, Build Back Better, we can really make a dent in the lack of housing in this country. Low income housing and moderate income housing. There's a lot of other housing.
What are the steps to handle the homelessness issue? I mean, of course, the money is there, but what are the steps to actually get people off the street?
Different communities are doing it differently. And I was in California. They're buying up hotels, basically old motels and hotels. In DC, they are creating new communities of housing, building new housing to get people permanent housing. It's happening differently all over the United States, but we have a program called House America, which is designed to get cities and county and state governments to commit to us that they're going to build a certain amount of housing over the next year. So far this year, we have 70 partners between mayors and governors who have committed to build a certain number of housing to get homeless people off the street. It is a crisis that no one really talks about in this country, but there are almost 600,000 people that sleep on the streets in this country every night.
Yeah, is there a difference between unhoused and homeless? Because I think I saw on CNBC where it says 500,000 people are unhoused. And I'm like, I feel like it's got to be way more than that, right? But it's got to be a difference between unhoused and homeless, right?
There is a difference. You know, there's a difference between those people who kind of couch surf or stay here for a day or stay here for a day. When we're talking about unsheltered, people who have no shelter, sleeping on the street, those are two different things. There are some people in shelters. There are some people in other temporary living situations. But unsheltered people are people who literally sleep on the street.
I was going to say, I would say in the last.
All right, so I went and did some digging. So you asked the question in the chat, what are the companies that are going to get those contracts? The people who are going to bid, the people who are going to partner, the people that are actually going in there and setting up to do the work. That's who's going to get it. That's it. But let's get to this. So, you know me, I'm like, well, has anybody created an NFT for homeless? And there are NFTs out there for homeless people. Let me show you this. All right, because I was just wondering. Let me see. It says, oops. Let me see. Oh, that's because there's two links in one. Hold on. Let me grab this link. I got two links in one. All right, these NFTs are helping us in homelessness. So let me pull that up. On December the 1st, we became the world's first organization to fund home building with NFTs, all for families experiencing homelessness. In our newest launch of NFTs, our passionate community is continuing to use creativity, transparency, and generosity, build a world where everyone has a home. So what is an NFT? They talk about that, then they talk about Coinbase, and then they got an NFT collection. Well, fungible means, so what is non-fungible? Well, fungible means something that can be replaced by another identical item. If you gave me $1, I give you $1. We made a mutual exchange. Like dollars, every Bitcoin is worth the same amount. One Bitcoin is worth one Bitcoin. But one NFT is not worth one NFT. Like trading cards and physical pieces of art, each one is unique and the value is created by the creator behind it. Each NFT is one of a kind. They can be bought and sold at differing prices. There are thousands of Mona Lisas that look the same. Each had the same amount of paint and time put into them, yet one is currently valued at 860 million. All right. And so they go into this about the NFTs and homelessness and so forth, right? So, but what I didn't understand is it says, and 100% of the NFT earnings are used to build homes for families who need them. What I haven't found on this is where they actually building this at. Like, do they have partnership with cities and so forth and so on, right? So that's what I was looking at for that. This one is the first link D for the NFT. This is the first link, all right? This is the very first one. I'm gonna bring up the second one now. All right, a former homeless man is making NFTs to raise money for charity shelter. Let me pull this up. Nathan Lawrence wants to raise money for a shelter after the charity helped him when he was homeless, and the digital artist has chosen the controversial crypto craze to do so. A former homeless man has opted to give back to charity that helped him find a home via the NFT craze. Nathan Lawrence, 31, from Manchester, spent early part of the sleeping on a friend's sofa and self isolating in his mother's shed after he was evicted from his home. He has since been rehoused, and this is what you call it said, with the help of housing charity shelter and digital artist who goes under the name of NK Digital, has now set out to repay the housing charity for their help by raising money from NFTs, right? And here's his art, and it is a picture of the guy here. Here is Nathan Lawrence, right? It says NFTs allow people to buy and sell digital items and claim ownership of each one. NFTs can be anything from digital art to gifts to items in video games, and are brought with cryptocurrency for ownership and tracked by US blockchain. In the last year, we become big business with one piece of art every day for the first 5,000 days by Beeple going for 69.3 million. Another thing that I actually found was there is a company out here called, did I put it on here? Yep, Masterworks.io. Masterworks.io. All right. So when I was talking about how others invest their money, right? Another way, instead of buying art, pieces of art, you can invest in small art pieces here, right? And Masterworks.io is one of those ones as well that you can go into and invest, right? And they have, again, you don't have to purchase, you can just do an investment or whatnot, right? So this was one of the other ways that the ultra rich or high net worth individuals invest, and what the art that they collect and done has outperformed the S&P 500. It's doubled that of the S&P 500. Let me drop that link for you, Just Jay, uh, for the first one. There you go. All right, so that's that one. All right, here's another one. Housefam.io. Across the world, families are fighting to survive homelessness. Each edition of House NFT provides one safe home for one family forever. And then basically you have a 3D printed one, available tokens 20, and then 2 Ethereum. And for every one you buy, there's supposed to be this house. Now, how do you track all of that? I don't know. Right? They're on OpenSea. Here's what the houses look like. They have a Discord. Here's the information for their roadmap. You can check them out. You can go to Better Business Bureau and check them as well too, right? See if anybody got anything written up about them. Is there a Better Business Bureau for NFTs? I'm just curious. All right, so here we go. Here's the report what she was talking about. African Americans had the highest rate of homelessness in minorities for a decade running. This is of 2020, right? no matter what way HUD measures the numbers of homeless, the proportion and the chances that any one homeless person is African American barely changes. It is constant throughout their record since they started in 2007, and that minorities are far more likely to be homeless, and African Americans are far more likely within them. And I wanted to see if it had a chart, because there's another one out there that shows that maybe it may be 40% of those that are homeless that are African American. Also showed that white homelessness was up too. I'll drop this link so you can go read about it. All right. And I dropped the link to the Breakfast Club. I'm not gonna finish that one. That one's like really, really long for us. Breakfast Club. And that's that one. Okay. Let me look at my notes, make sure we cover everything. That website, they had jobs. I mean, let's see. Yeah, they had jobs, but we'll get into that in a minute. All right. I'm gonna close this. And we're probably gonna, I got other stuff, but we're probably gonna end with this guy. Well, I wanted you to have this information about this guy. Let me make sure I cover everything that I brought up. Oh yeah, Barclay freezes ex-CEO, 29 million bonus. Regulators probe for the links to Jeffrey Epstein or Epstein. On that link, I think they do show the state of homeless. Not by every state though. I also wanted to point out mentor spaces, a person who can't be who they haven't seen. Here's a place where you can go for mentors. It's called mentorspaces.com is the website. Check out how the Marine Corps is looking to do machine learning for personnel retention. So they're using AI for retention. I wonder what the criteria is. And then free courses here at Cloud Academy. This was posted in Slack. Also wanted to bring up Market Force raises 40 million in a Series A, introduces BNPL merchant stock financing. Market Force, the retail B2B and end-to-end distribution platform founded in Kenya, has raised 40 million in a Series A, funding for merchant inventory and merchant inventory financing and expansion across Africa. Market Force was launched in Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda last year after growing beyond Kenya and Nigeria. Plans to introduce buy now, pay later options to merchants access fast moving consumer goods on credit, right? So you may want to check them out. Market Force. And this here, 37 Black investors changing the VC industry with firms dedicated to funding diverse startup founders, right? Black-led VC firms got less than 1% of the U.S. capital raised in 2021. A new report reveals that more Black partners are launching firms, many within the past 2 years. These Black VCs hope to effect change by investing in more underrepresented startup founders, right? So again, investing into your own and going from there. I'll go over a couple of them. Candace, Matthews, Brecken, and Brian. Becken of Lightship Capital, their co-founders. Brandon Brooks, Overlooked Ventures. Pilar Johnson, she comes from co-founder and managing partner of Debut Capital. I guess it may be Henry, or is it Henry? Henry, Pierre Jacques, Brandon Bryant, and Jared Tingle of Harlem Capital. Melissa Bradley of 1863 Ventures. Arlen Hamilton, Backstage Capital. Marceau, or I guess you could say Marceau Michael, Black Founders Matter. Justin Dawkins, Jewel Burke Solomon, and Barry Gibbons of Collab Capital. Aaron, or I guess Aaron, not Aaron Simone and Ayana Parsons of Fearless Fund. William Crowder of Aperture VC. Kimmy Palch of Beta Room. Lindsay Lee of Authentic Ventures. Heather Howes, James Norman, and Sean Green of Black Ops Ventures. There's 37 of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll drop the link though. All right. Will I build a fund? I don't know. I might. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about building a fund. Then it becomes the question, why go build your own when you go invest in what somebody else already built? And then it becomes, do you want to invest in what somebody already built? Right? Maybe your mission may be different. Depends. It depends. But let's get into, let me see, that's everybody. Yep, they're back to Pinky. So we got everybody. We got all the things I did want to mention or at least talk about, right? But let's get into this. And I'll end on this one. Yeah, we got 15 minutes. We'll end on this one. So stop there. Jamie Dimon, JP Chase Morgan. How did he build his wealth? Where did his wealth come from? Was it inherited? What was going on? How did things come about? The first probably 10 minutes, you're gonna be mad. I'm gonna tell you, but it is what it is. He is who he is, and ain't nothing you can do about it. So let's get into Jamie. What he has done, where he came from, who he is. How did JP Chase Morgan become JP Chase Morgan? How did there's also a story out there that I actually researched. How did Visa become Visa? How did MasterCard become MasterCard? Where did the money come from to start these things? Who did what? Why? How? What are they invested in? Where are they putting their money at? What are they also creating? Why? Why am I searching them? Well, they control half of what you want to invest in. They control access. They control the access, right? So let's get into it.
It's the end of the 2008 housing crisis. The once-in-a-lifetime financial storm has caused dozens of banks to fail. But there's one bank, not only surviving the crisis unscathed, but also capitalizing on this opportunity to become the largest bank in America, J.P. Morgan Chase. Sitting on the throne of this financial empire is the Wall Street banker, Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon is born into the finance business. In 1921,
boom, born into the finance business. His net worth right now is 1.8 billion as of 2022. Just want to put that out there.
His grandfather came to New York with nothing, but soon built a successful career as a banker and then as a stockbroker. By the time Jamie is born, his father, Theodore Dimon, also has become a wealthy stockbroker.
Well, my parents were real moralists, so you do the right thing, you only do the right thing, you treat everyone equally and fairly. My mom was one of the earliest women's liberals around after reading, some of those books and stuff like that.
Dimon's childhood is almost too perfect, attending private schools and spending summers in the mountains in Colorado. His life has been the envy of other children of the same age, but to the young Jamie, it isn't enough. From day one, Jamie has an unwavering ambition. He wants to make a fortune, more than that of his father and grandfather.
He recognized early on that to succeed achieving this goal, he should be in the finance industry. But first, he should go to a great college.
But to his dismay, he's rejected by his dream school, Brown University.
So in this, they talk about he got rejected by Brown. He got rejected by all his dream schools. But why did he want to go to those schools? Now, they weren't just dream schools, right? Again, we're talking about access to wealth or proximity to wealth. Let's talk about it. Let's go look at Brown Endowment. Brown's endowment is 6.9 billion. Let's go look at Harvard Endowment. Harvard Endowment, and see what we come back with. Just give me the number. I don't want to have to look for it. Harvard Endowment sourced to 53.2 billion. All right. Yale, 42.3 billion. Right. So when you're talking about access to what's already out there, what someone had already created, these are the numbers that you're looking at, where people are willing to forge SATs to get their kids into proximity of wealth and access with their current I don't want to say team members, but their current, I guess, people that they will be in contact with of their age, right? Yep, he saved a rejection letter, right? Princeton, 37.7 billion. Howard endowment is 712 million. Dillard, 100 million. Clark, I can't even pull it up. Come on now. You can find everybody else's, but I can't find your endowment. I got some financial statements. Where's your endowment? Here it is right here, city data. I wonder how old this is. That's 2016. I need to come forward 5 years. But I may have to take that. But it looks like in 2016, we got 66 million for Clark, 130 million for Morehouse, and 367 for Spelman. They're not in the billions, I don't think, over in the past 5 years. Right? Median cost 34,000, undergrad population 3,100. 1, 2, 3. So we're looking at an endowment of Clark University needs approximately 2.1 billion for all of its undergraduates to attend debt-free annually. The school where W.E. Du Bois taught after achieving his doctorate from a college in the Northeast remains the least known of the AUC trio, despite a storied history of its own. It don't have 2 billion. We know that. It don't have more than Howard. You would need 2 billion. And that was a 2013. Right? So he's vying for access. That's what he's looking for.
After graduating 4th in his class and being rejected by Brown University, Diamond goes to Tufts University instead. Jamie Dimon grew up having most things handed to him. Deep down, he believes Tufts doesn't deserve a student of his caliber. During his freshman year, he applied to be transferred to Princeton University, but Dimon is rejected again by an Ivy League school. Jamie Dimon feels he's entitled to go to the best school in America. He decides the best way to prove he's worthy of greatness is by becoming the #1 student at Tufts.
Jamie Dimon always seemed to have this supreme confidence and sometimes comes off as cocky.
His plan worked. By 1978, Dimon graduates summa cum laude from Tufts and is accepted to the Harvard Business School. He finally achieved his goal and his self-worth is validated. At Harvard, Dimon proves once again he's in a league of his own.
In business school, Dimon was a nonconformist. He didn't live on campus like other students, and he wore jeans and leather jackets. Other students wear suits. In a class full of Republicans, he was the only Democrat, and a very vocal one.
Jamie Dimon graduates Harvard as a Baker Scholar, an honor only bestowed on the top 5% of his class. Dimon is flooded with job offers by many prestigious investment banks on Wall Street. His future is bright. Surprisingly, Dimon turns them all down and instead decides to take 1/3 of the salary by working for a family friend, the legendary financier, Senny Weil.
Now, let me tell you what I got out of this. What I got out of it was he had a mentor and a benefactor. They spoke his name in other rooms. He hustled and worked his way to be in those rooms, but he's also walked into those rooms as well too, right? Like you say, he was used to having everything handed to him, right? He was immediately brought into the inner circle. And during this era, this was during the Reagan era, who privatized corporate America and gave tax breaks. That's when you really saw wealth really starting to grow back then, right? So let's get back.
I got to know him a little bit. My dad was a broker at Shears and Hamill. I'd had a summer job there. He liked the fact I went to Harvard Business School, and his pitch was this: I'm not going to pay you the same, but he said, "Come join me here. I don't know what it's going to be, but at least you'll see what a big company works like."
Senny Weil is an accomplished deal maker in the finance industry. During his long career, he changed the fate of many iconic Wall Street brands, like Primerica, Salomon Brothers, and Citibank. Born in a Jewish neighborhood in the Bensonhurst section of Brooklyn, Senny Weil always wanted to get rich, not by working a 9-to-5 job, but by creating his own company and leveraging other people's money. By 1986, he sold his brokerage firm Shearson to American Express for $900 million. He becomes the president of American Express. He takes a liking to the young Jamie Dimon and offers to hire him as his personal assistant.
Like most young
Access. Be in the room. This is what we talk about. Access, right? In the room, right? I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not gonna tell you that. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, it's easy. But no, being in the room, having your name in somebody's mouth, right? A good way, right? Is what I'm talking about.
people who get breaks, luck has a lot to do with it, and timing. And the second factor besides timing is that as a young man, usually all of us would admit that there was a mentor, a benefactor. And when an older person who you respect and admire has confidence in you, it's a great booster to your own self-confidence.
What I loved about, first of all, he was very down to earth. I mean, there are flaws in the man, but he's very down to earth. I really wanted to help build something. I mean, that was my initial thing. Like, I want to build something. He had built Shears and Hamill from Shears and Hayden Stone. A lot of acquisitions kind of from the ground up. I love that kind of stuff.
Now, I want to ask y'all this question is, how many of y'all are ready to be mentors to other people? Do you know what that looks like? How many of you can say that you're ready to be a mentor to someone else? That's why I want to know.
So I figured I could always go back to investment banking.
I think Jamie Dimon realized that Sandy Weil was Genghis Khan at his early stage of conquest. He saw him as someone he could emulate to build his own empire. While other MBA graduates will have to work from the bottom up, Sandy Weil brings Jamie Dimon right to the inner circle of his operation, negotiating deals on behalf of Weil worth hundreds of millions of dollars. At the age of 28, Jamie Dimon already feels he's at the top of the finance game. But that is only temporary. Before long, fate will bring him down to rock bottom. The 1980s is a decade of deal making. After Ronald Reagan became the president, he prioritized helping corporate America, cutting taxes, and making it easy for them to borrow money. This gives rise to the mergers and acquisitions, or simply deals. Only good deals. After landing a job working directly for the president of American Express, Jamie Dimon's career skyrockets. Sandy Weil aims to become the #1 guy at American Express. Jamie Dimon knows if he can help his mentor accomplish that, someday, American Express will also be his. But their ambition makes them targets. At the time, American Express owns a fund called Fireman's Fund. Sandy Weil wanted to sell it to Warren Buffett, and he and Jamie Dimon worked tirelessly to make this deal happen. But at the final stage, the board vetoed this idea. Sandy Weil realizes he was played and quit American Express in anger. But he encourages Dimon to stay on because Dimon needs to support his new family.
In 1985, I decided to leave there because I had a difference in management style.
Now, drop in the chat on one if you like what you're hearing today. I'm gonna stop it right here because you can go back and finish this if you want to, and I can continue if you want to, but I don't want to spend like the next 30 minutes on it. I just only wanted to do the first 10 minutes of this so you can be aware of like how people are getting in rooms, what are they doing, the access to wealth, what does that look like? Some things that you can do for yourself, right? When it comes to like, hey, I want to be in this location, so why not? How can I get in that location? Like, like if you want to know more about creating a DAO in Wyoming, go to meetup.com, look and see who's in Wyoming, who's talking about DAOs, and then go from there. Look on Twitter, look on LinkedIn. What can you create an entity? Should you be creating LLCs or should you be creating DAO? It's $100 billion in funding that HUD is doing for purchasing power over the next 5 years. Are you going to be a part of that conversation? Or are you just going to talk about being a part of that conversation? These are things that we have to ask ourselves. How do you see yourself? What do you see yourself in? And who are you going to build with? Or are you going to do it by yourself and then build a team later on? Right? So you have to just be cognizant of these things. I'm going to stop it at the 10-minute mark.
I left to not knowing what was going to happen next, but American Express stock for the 4 years that I was there tripled, so I did okay, and I started looking for something else to do.
But in a show of loyalty, the 29-year-old Diamond quit his job too.
Jamie Dimon, who worked for me, was a very loyal guy, and he wanted to go with me, even though American Express wanted him to stay. But he felt this is what he wanted to do. I said, Jamie, you were voted most likely to succeed in business school. How the heck can you be going with an older guy? I don't have to work again another day in my life.
It's an incredible gamble, one that will pay off handsomely in the end. But for now, they must come up with a new plan. After his fall from grace, the unyielding Sandy Weil is determined to make a comeback, with Diamond on his side. At the age of 58, his peers see Sandy Weil as someone on the way out. No Wall Street firms want to hire him as their executive. It's a mistake they will come to regret. In the meantime, Sandy Weil and Diamond are forced to look elsewhere for deals. They're looking to take over a smaller company, then leverage it to take over bigger companies. And before long, they find just the company from an unlikely place. Commercial Credit is a loan company in Baltimore, targeting middle and lower class consumers, those who shop at Walmart.
It was pretty much a loan shark operation, lending high interest short-term loans to mostly a low-income population.
Commercial Credit parent company is a computer disk drive maker called Control Data. It was a bizarre acquisition, doomed to fail from the get-go. By 1985, Control Data is in financial trouble and is ready to sell the child company for cash. Sandy Weil instructs Jamie Dimon to analyze the firm for a potential takeover, and he comes back with a shocking finding.
Jamie Dimon is always the type who thinks differently from other people. Commercial Credit was a crappy company with just 4% return on equity, while a similar company had 15%. But Dimon realized that the company has a lot of assets that they can sell, a lot of costs to be cut, basically making it a very attractive bargain. They approached Warren Buffett again for investment. But to Buffett, the days of owning cigar butts companies are long gone. His partner Charlie Munger convinced Buffett to focus on quality companies to invest in, rather than trying to turn around bad ones.
And he'd been taught it by Ben Graham, but he saw the point. You couldn't scale that business. And it was kind of scroungy and unpleasant, and you're firing people. Who in the hell wants to do that?
So Buffett rejects their offer. The deal is now on the verge of falling out. Their plan of an epic comeback now seems impossible.
In this situation, there are three possible ways to take over this company. The first is to look for a wealthy co-investor, like Warren Buffett, but that didn't work out.
I laugh at these things. I'm gonna get back to it, but I laugh at these. It's the good way to look at it is you look for a wealthy co-investor like Warren Buffett or Munger, right? Like we be like, we ain't got nobody like that. We don't have a wealthy investor just sitting aside like I can go to that person and they got a couple of million, billion sitting aside and we're just gonna ask them to invest in this company for us, this, that, and other. That's not how it works for us.
The second way is to do a leveraged buyout by borrowing a lot of money plus some equity to fully take over the company. But the company will immediately have a heavy debt burden, risking bankruptcy. The third option is to do a public offering by selling a portion of the ownership to the public. The challenge is to convince investors to buy.
Jamie Dimon sees commercial credit as an undervalued company that can be turned around by someone like him, making it an attractive investment. Sunny Wild decides to put the majority of his own fortune by buying 10% of the company and offering 80% of the company to the public. Jamie Dimon, while barely in his early 30s, invests everything he's got, $425,000, into the company. They raised $850 million, instantly making their investments profitable. Sunny Wild also decides to appoint Dimon as the company's chief financial officer and gives Dimon a large number of stock options as a reward for his loyalty.
We took that company public. They sold 80% of the company. We raised enough money to get the company an investment-grade credit rating, which a finance company needed.
After taking over commercial credit, Wild and Dimon start ruthlessly cutting costs, laying off 10% of the employees on the first day. After just 1 year of running the business, they create $100 million in profit and achieve an 18% return on equity. Credit agencies increased the company's credit rating, allowing Wild to borrow an extra $100 million on behalf of the company. With all that money in their hands, now they can do the one thing they had come to Baltimore to do: deals. But before they can start, their company stock suddenly collapses by 50%. That day is October 19th, 1987.
Panic, crash, free fall, meltdown. They just put their hands in their pockets and stared in disbelief.
Every crisis of this type, whether it's 2008 or 1873, it's got the same roots, namely that it was unanticipated. So a necessary condition for a crisis is nobody expects it.
While many of the biggest companies in the country struggle to survive, Wild and Dimon see an opportunity. Their belief in the survival of the fittest kick in. With a strong balance sheet, commercial credit is simply fitter than anybody else. They start buying.
So I know this is it's very interesting to me. I've watched this twice. So I'm gonna drop the link, right? And I'm gonna open this up for anybody that want to come up as well too. I know y'all like to continue, but I want to make sure we open it up for anybody to come up. We're gonna end pretty soon. Dee can drop the link for you to come up. I'll drop this video as well too. He goes on to create JP Chase Morgan, right? From this video. And they talk about they talk a lot more about how that got started. But I wanted you to see the timeline of what got started, of what went on, like the $425,000 that he had to invest. Where did he get the $425,000 from? The money from the ability to walk into rooms and start talking, like, again, having a mentor, having a benefactor, having a sponsorship. If you didn't learn anything from what Steve Harvey said this morning, sponsorship, we always talk about this when we're saying, we always mention mentors, right? But mentors is just one aspect of your career. Sponsorship is the other aspect of your career that you need to have. You need to have people talking and speaking your names in rooms when you are not there. You need to have relationships with people so that you can be walked into the circle. That's what I got out of this. He was walked into the circle. I don't have to claw my way to the top. I'm walked into the circle. I'm in proximity of where I want to be and who I want to be with. He had loyalty. That doesn't always work for everybody. But again, he had loyalty to the brand. There was a branding. Goes back to what I said with when we're talking about Lakewood Ranch and American Airlines, the branding, the number of millionaires, where are the millionaires located in these companies? I mean, not in these companies, but in these cities, the number of millionaires inside of the US, how they're creating their wealth. What are we talking about when we're talking about life insurance policies? What are we talking about when we're talking about investment into stocks, art, NFTs, DAOs, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, what have you? What are we talking about? What are we talking about when we start talking about, hey, I need a 3-bucket system? I even have on my list, I'm not going to even mention it this week. I'm not going to do it this week. I'll mention it. I'll do it next week. How to be a 401k millionaire. What does that look like? Your IRAs, buying and investing out of your IRAs. These are things that that I like to discuss, right? I didn't get all into the technical parts that I wanted to, but you get the idea. And let me drop the link to the video so y'all can finish it off. I found it very interesting, and the moderator for this, his stuff is really, really good. So you can check it out. And let me look. Oh yeah, we don't have nobody backstage, right? So yeah, you need to journal more. I would actually start journaling on GitHub as well too, or you can journal on what you call it. Who is D? You got a D in the back. Hold on. Let's see. I would actually start journaling on GitHub as well too. You got an echo. Who is D? Hey D.
Good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
Oh, I should say good afternoon. Sorry. Sorry. As you see, I'm still pajamaed out.
How you doing? I can hear you.
That was an interesting video clip.
You
Very
like
interesting. I do. It's amazing how money attracts money and influence. And if you're not in the loop, you're SOL.
Well, not only not in the loop, but being aware there is a loop.
Yes, that part.
Being aware there is a loop. Also, being able to know who the players are in that loop and the backgrounds of those people, and also being able to inject yourself into those spaces, right? So that's why I say coming to the meetups, coming to the shows, coming to, we have almost 3,000 people in our Slack group that you're able just to talk to and ask what their journey is, right? You're able to do that, right? So where did D go? Did she leave?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, where did D go? All right, yeah. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Were you on the first? Did you come to the first show?
I did.
You did. Okay. So you've been getting information all day.
All morning. I'm still I can't even get in the shower because it's like it's just blowing up with information, and it's like it's crazy.
Yep. And that's and that's not even half of the stuff that I have. I have so much more stuff to share. People working on a lot of stuff. I just hope that, I don't want to see us as we get older not able to make millionaires. Like we should be increasing as we go over time. And it's crazy, right? Because the first video we talked about, it was, if you are a Black person and you have a master's degree, your equivalent, your chances of being a millionaire is equivalent to a Asian person who is in high school, who graduated from high school. Like, that's crazy.
Amazing. I mean, that is so insane.
That's crazy. That means you're working twice as hard.
Still.
That's what it says. You're working twice as hard.
We're still working twice as hard to get the same advantages as other races.
Right. And so now the question becomes, because really right now, from the last report that we had, Asians have more income or more wealth than white Americans, right? So again, I said we should be comparing ourselves to Asians, not white Americans, right? What is going on there, and where their wealth is created. And Deacon vouched for this. In Colorado, I haven't seen a wig shop. I have true. I have not seen a wig shop, right? So that tells you something. Who gets targeted the most and why, right? They know you're gonna spend, all right? All right. So again, I haven't seen that. And that I've seen a nail shop, but it's not like a nail shop on every corner. And I haven't seen like I've seen I haven't seen, I don't want to say a liquor store. You know how you have a liquor store that's just on the corner? No, the liquor stores are in plazas, right? That's what I've seen.
I believe the whole U.S. as a whole has absolutely discounted blacks, and we've fallen asleep again.
But have we discounted ourselves as well?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
We've accepted as if this is the norm and to be discounted. I've always told my kids when they were small that integration was the worst thing that's ever happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
The worst. We have nothing to look up to that's in our face because mainstream news and media is not going to portray us in the best of light. So we don't see our own millionaires and billionaires other than sports figures who, well, I have my own opinion about them, but we don't see it.
Mm-hmm. There is, you mentioned this, right? I should have brought this up. This is another one.
Companies.
Hold on. I'm gonna bring this over. Gosh, this is so dope. This is a dope interview here too. All right. So this interview right here is with Soledad O'Brien and the new HP head of HP, which is a black guy, right? And Soledad O'Brien's interview is hands down like taking someone and sticking a needle in somebody's eye, right? That interview is dope. When you get to the guy doing the HP joint, he just flat out said it. He was like, I'm the only one in the room. You know, a lot of people mistake me for the help. A lot of people mistake me for X, Y, Z. He go through it. He talks about it. He was like, so he said, I take it as a learning, as a teachable moment to say, well, why would you assume that I was that? Why would you assume I was that person, right? And then he goes on and he shares his journey as to how he teaches someone. So that way, when they come encounter with someone else again, they don't make that assumption, right? And don't pull people to the side. He didn't pull nobody to the side. He just made it like, so that's what your assumption is. This what I'm gonna give you back, right? And then Soledad O'Brien in this interview, she talks about having representation not on camera, right? We have enough on camera. We don't have enough in the boardroom to make the decisions about what gets shown to us in terms of content. And she talks about that, which is very important when we're looking at what I'm talking about is we got people coming in to work, right? And in these tech companies, that's good. But we also need people coming in up here in the leadership position, and we also need people on it. So it's a trifecta approach to me. It's a multi-pronged approach to me when we talk about tech. It's not just getting in the door. It's also getting into leadership. It's also creating companies. It's also employing those that once we create those companies, we need to have us as capital so we can fund those things, so we can look within ourselves to get those. And in order to do that, somebody's got to make money. So I just look at it as a multi-pronged approach when we're talking about getting into the game here. I'm gonna go over this video next week because this video is good. I have like 3 other videos that I went through and I analyzed and I pulled out things that stuck out to me. The most that stuck out to me today was sponsorship. The other one was us being in the room, and the other one with Jamie was being walked into the circle. So when you're talking about you're trying to get somewhere, what is the circle in which you're trying to get to, right? So if you're trying to get into real estate and multi-family, who's in the circle and how can you get in contact with them and be a part of their circle or their minds or so forth? Go ahead.
Question: how do we indoctrinate or try to impress upon the next generation? Like, I have grandkids. Being a braggadocious grandma, my grandkids are straight A kids. But I was telling my oldest one yesterday. I was telling him, I was like, baby, I know you like music. Music has, all through our family. Everybody is singing in these different arenas. But did you realize that Linux is running your phone? Did you realize that Linux is running your mom's car?
Did he know what it was?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
He's really smart. I said, baby, this is the way of the future. You got to jump in now while you're young. You could get in these boot camps. How do we impress across the nation that our children need to, that you don't have to be a straight A math student. I mean, you need math, but you don't have to be a straight A student. But you need to know this in order to position yourself into the wealth gap. I'm not talking about help desk.
Right.
I mean, please forgive me. I know
what you mean.
Start somewhere.
I know what you're saying. You're saying don't let that be your end game.
Right. How do we get it across to our children and our children's children? I don't want to see them struggling with a $15 an hour job for the rest of their life, and everybody else around them is making $200,000 and $300,000 and $400,000. How do you do it?
Right. So one way is you doing it right now as you're talking about it, but you also have to meet him where he's at. And I'm assuming it's him. You think you said him.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to meet him where he's at. So if he's in the music, you're going to have to listen. You're going to have to start looking at what's going on in the music industry and tech itself. So that comes back down to your NFTs. So I'm sure he probably knows who Snoop Dogg is. I'm sure he probably knows who Nipsey Hussle is, right? Or is it Nipsey Hussle? That's the other guy. Yeah, Nipsey.
I don't know. He's kind of
right. But I'm just saying he knows who they are. But in the same token, you have to look at what they are making their investments in. So as a project together, if it were me, as a project together, I would go look and see like who his favorite artists are or artist is, and then find out what investments are they making. Find out what philanthropy are they doing. So then now you can take back and say, because now it's relatable. Because when you say Linux to him, he's like, yeah, that's cool, grandma, but what you want me to do with that? I'm about to go make this beat.
Right. And that's exactly where his little head is. And I'm trying to.
Right. But you're going to have to meet him where he's at. So you're going to have to find artists that he likes and music that he listens to, and then say, okay, well, what investments are they making? Right? Are they putting their money somewhere else? How and then start asking like, well, what if you had a chance to approach this artist, what are you going to say to him? What is going to be your pitch to him? How are you going to get into their circle? Who is in their circle? Find out who is in their circle. Who do they have around them?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Because I was just like, I'm just lost. I was telling them, I'm still in this program, this BS program,
Mhm.
and I'm so over it right this minute, and but I don't want to portray that to him, because I really truly believe that this could be one of the avenues for Black people as a whole to get
I
out
mean,
of
there's
the
so
rut.
many, right? There's drones. He could be interested in drones. He could be into gaming. He could go down the route of getting a scholarship for gaming. He could
He's definitely into gaming.
Yeah,
Definitely.
so he could do gaming. I would check out I would look at esports and their scholarships that they have for esports. I would be looking at even if you don't go down the route of getting him like on a team, but at least understanding that it's just not playing the video game, it's creating content around the video game. There is creating skins for the video game. There's broadcasters for the video game. There's so many different intricate things that you get out of gaming that just doesn't get talked about. We so busy playing, but we're not looking at the other side of gaming as well too. And also gaming is getting into NFTs and crypto as well too. So there's another aspect of that. Then the other happy marriage between gaming is gaming and music. So there is music that gets played inside the video game as well too, where artists are making money off of that as well. So there's just multiple aspects when we're talking about how do we get our kids interested in tech, where they can make money and they can then this is not something they have to wait till they're 25 to make. It's something they can do right now. These are tangible goals that they can accomplish right now.
Thank you for all the suggestions. I will be.
You can go back and watch the video.
I am. I am. Thank you, Miss Tamika.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But yep, everybody, I wanted y'all to at least have an idea of what we're talking about and what I keep stressing about when it comes down to what I'm seeing across the board, not just in tech, but just in general in life, where people are how again. I had this conversation with D, and I said, "Do you think that when we walk in a room, people look at us as if you don't have any money based upon statistics that are brought out, right? When you walk in the room, somebody is looking at you and saying, hey, we already know they don't have no money. Is that true? Yes or no? I don't know, right? Do people already have a financial assumption about who you are based upon your skin color, right? They know that you're in a certain tax bracket. They know that you are coming in and you're not going to spend over X, Y, and Z, right? What are the conversations being had, right? That type of stuff, right? The other things that I think about, I had this I was on a live this morning, and it was Anton Daniels live, and I was listening to the men talk, and there was a young lady on there, and she was like, I'm already a millionaire. I think she was like, I just, I make money in my sleep, like I'm already at 2 million. But I posed the question, and I said, if you meet a woman who's making 2 million or 3 million or 4 million and you're making 45,000, could you listen to her so she can show you how you can make 2 million? And sadly, the answer was no. So we can't even listen to each other just to make money. We're not saying that you got to date her, but we're just saying, can you listen to a woman to make money, to increase value? We can't even do that. Are we that far gone from each other that we can't even learn from each other?
Yes.
We that far gone?
It's a done deal. It's a wrap.
We can't be that far gone. I refuse to believe it. I do. I just refuse to believe they're not the ones to listen. That's what I refuse to believe. But here's the other kicker to that. The other kicker to that is if you're not listening to the woman and you're not and these guys said it, they's like, well, we don't even listen to men, and you ain't listening to men. Who the hell are you gonna listen to?
Who are you listening to?
And it goes back to what I say before. I say this: if I bring up somebody of as what you call it, say we'll just say of no color. If I bring up somebody of no color, people will listen. But if I bring up somebody of color, we're not listening. What are we doing? Like, I got questions. Like, what are we doing? Why are we not building subdivisions, commercial real estate? This, that, I don't know. I don't know. I just got questions. That's it. I'm done. My mad rant over. We're gonna be back next week. My mad rant is over. We're gonna be back next week. I'm gonna go through this video here with Soledad O'Brien, and the CIO, Ron. I think he's pronounced it Guerriere. I think that's the right way to pronounce that. And then I have another set of videos that I have been watching. I've just been pulling, what they're doing and stuff like that. There's Lewis Roberts over at NVIDIA. There is a couple of other people around the industry. And I'm not talking about like they work there. I'm talking about they're in a position of power to hire, to make changes, to move needles, to bring people in so we can start pushing the needle forward. Like but some Breeze, you said, I don't know, we need deeper conversation. Baby steps is over. We need leaps. We need giant steps. We need giant steps. B9, thank you for rocking with me. We need giant steps. Like we can't honestly, we can't even afford to take baby steps. I'm thinking like we at the point now, like if we see kids on the bike, we roll up on them like 5 over, like, nah, y'all coming over here to this boot camp that we about to kick off right now. Get off the corner, get off the bike. Come over here. Why y'all hanging out at the at the convenience store? Why y'all on the corner? Why y'all on the bike on the corner? What is at the corner store? Like we're at that point. We need leaps and bounds, like for real. I was looking at a show earlier, and they were saying that if we it was 60%. Oh, what was it? For the next 20 years, if we bought every Black person a house or something like that, we still would not, for the next 20 years, we still would not have attained 60% of the white wealth. It was something like that. Yeah, pole vaulting, like it's over, right? It's over. Baby steps is over. The corner store has good air and nerds and Laffy Taffy and a sandwich or something. Like, yeah. I mean, but again, I agree. It starts at a young age, but here's the thing: even though if we start at a young age, if ain't nobody up here holding the door open, it don't matter where we start right here. That's right. Why it has to be all the way through. Like we need here at the bottom, we need here in preschool, we need here in executive positions, and we need to be creating and we need to be funding, because we can have all these people over here that are young and getting ready to go. But if ain't nobody here holding the door open for them, and there ain't nobody over here trying to make sure that they get pulled into the circle, then it don't matter. It's just a cycle that's starting all over again. So indirectly, what I do affects you, what you do affects me, and so forth. Indirectly, theoretically, right? So we gotta have people opening doors. You know, if you're not gonna move up the corporate level, at least hold the door open. At least when you see me coming, open up the door. Don't let me just knock and just be like, girl, you're gonna have to figure it out. That's what I did. You set me up for failure. We gotta get out of that mindset. And I get it. We can't help everybody. I ain't saying go save everybody, right? I'm not saying that. Because some people are just, I don't want to say toxic. Some people are just stuck where they're at mentally. And they ain't coming with you. They don't see what you're talking about. And when you start talking about it, they like, oh, here they go with that again. There's just some people that are like that. But at this point, leave them where they at. Leave them where they at. Because we getting left where we at. We getting left where we at. Society is like, leave them where they at. And they have 40% homeless. Come on, man. Come on. There's a lot of people, right? That's not working. And remember now, we just went through the $50 billion joint, right? 50 billion black man cause, whatever that was, right? The joblessness crisis for black men cost about $50 billion per year. We just did that talk not too long ago. And we say we don't want to listen. And we say that we don't want to evolve. And I'm just asking you to get to 200,000. It's jobs out here at 800, 750, a million, right? I'm just asking you to get to 2. They are already trying to tweak their accredited investor. So that takes you out of access to whatever. Like, you got to see the game for what it is. You hear it? Here's the game. Right? And then to top it all off, we're not even in the arena. We get mad when somebody talk about money. We get mad when somebody want to talk about creating wealth and whatnot. And I get it, you can't trust anybody, but hell, shit. JB Chase Morgan lawsuits, like, been out of the yin yang, right? You know, we seen these now. We seen these. We say we don't trust each other, right? But here we go, right? She taking her check into the bank. She want to cash her check, right? She want to cash her check. She want to cash her little funds. Then they don't tell you they think that's you. You saw the lady jumped over the counter, like, God daggone. So you don't want to listen to us, but you want to listen to them? Okay. Right? You got Citizen Trust Bank. You got credit unions. Right? Oh, and you know what? Don't let me forget. I'm gonna have to write my notes. We're gonna do the Maynard Jackson story, right? So, all right, D. I'm gonna be good. I'm going this time, D. D. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna leave because my pressure getting up. But I just want y'all to be aware of, like, what these outcomes, what how people. I'm not saying how people are viewing you. I'm just saying what it looks like, right? the money, what the money looks like. Like we need money to be able to get in certain doors, right? And if we ain't talking about money, getting money in certain doors, and we ain't talking about increasing wealth, well, I don't know what we talking about then. What we come here for every day? What we get on um this internet for to talk about, right? Why? I don't know. I have my own thoughts and things, but again, we'll be back. I'm probably gonna go live on Clubhouse tonight. I didn't do it last night. I'll probably do it tonight. Um, uh, uh, we'll have our Russ meeting tomorrow at 4. Uh, well, me and Dia sit down and talk about what's the one-on-ones gonna look like. That's gonna open back up. We're gonna start having someone do mock interviews and so forth. We're gonna start talking more and more about DACOs and LLCs. I want to get some. CPAs on here. I've been talking to some lawyers in the blockchain arena. I just yeah, that engineering cameras, that stuff get on my nerves. Um, I don't know. We thought I thought about a radio station. We thought about a radio station 5 years ago. I thought about actually a whole network. I have an idea for a whole entire network of nothing but tech, money, where the money is at, the whole nine. Like I have a whole idea for a network. I have a whole idea. I have things written out. Um I just have a whole idea of network, how to employ people, how to get people. Like I have a whole idea of like how to earn while you learn, like how to make money while you're learning about DevSecOps and AI and machine learning and earn money while you're doing it. I have a whole idea of a platform for that. I have a whole idea of a platform of how do you earn money as we're doing our live streams. Like what does that look like? Not just on YouTube, but our own platform. Like I got a whole lot of ideas for that. You would like to see me do a one-on-one with Lapeef Network on YouTube. What will be the topic of that? What will be the topic? Snuggles. I mean, really, what would be the topic? Like, what would be the topic? What would be the topic that would seriously be something of value to both parties? I mean, that wouldn't even be a topic. That wouldn't even be a topic. That's over. That's game over, right there. That's game over. Again, we got a lot of work to do. I am going to be in contact with some managers this week. I'm getting ready to start building my team. I'm getting ready to start hiring people. I need to be able to. I need people in my circle that's ready to go. I am also looking to build some more stuff. And D, drop in the chat. Who's the one that's been doing the Who's the one that's been doing the thingies, the chapters? What's her name? I want to make sure I shout her out. Is it you, Game Over? I appreciate you. Okay, is that you? Raise your hand or wave them. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming it's you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. If that is you. And you're right, game over. It wouldn't be nothing productive. It wouldn't be anything productive that I could possibly see that would come out of that. Because the stuff that I would want to talk about is, I don't even. It's on my list. But anyway, oh, you raising your hand? Are you raising your hand to come on stage? You can come on stage. The link is in the chat, or D could drop the link again. But in terms of creating your own banks and stuff like that, what does that look like? Like I want to go do a background research on the Rush card. That's what I want to do. Like what was the entities backing that? What was that Rush card supposed to be? What it was supposed to do? Where did he see going with that? Because he's not the only one that came out with a credit card. There have been others that come out with a credit card. Yeah, come on up. Come on up. See Casey, yep. What was the banking purpose behind that? Where was that going? What was his cut on that? What was the, of course he created, what was he getting a kickback on, and what would people be able to do out of that, right? How did other banks view that, right? Yeah, Kelvin Davis. I talked about this venture capital, and creating your own fund and creating your own banking. But again, this gets back into the family office and the multifamily office. Where the family office, you need 100, as a single family office, it's 100 million in assets, wealth assets, and then multifamily office, it is 10 to 20 million. But then you have to ask yourself, is the family office worth setting up versus a DAO, where you can set that up, and what does that look like from the IRS perspective? And I did have this up. I didn't even go into it about opportunity zones from opportunity zones and from an IRS perspective. We got somebody backstage. You can come on up if you're ready. If not, we can value there, or you need more time. Oh, you just listening. Okay, cool. All right. So, but when we talking about what these things look like, I'm just curious. You said, oh yeah, you was looking at Reginald Lewis. Did you go look that up? Reginald Lewis, go. I'm telling you, looking up Reginald Lewis. Go look up Maynard Jackson, Thomas Moorhead. Oh God, Robert Smith is one, but there's another one to look up as well too. Yeah, A.G. Gaston is another one, but there's one more to look up. I mentioned H.J. Russell, but there's H.J. Russell has a partnership, another commercial partnership with someone else, and I forget that person's name off the top of my head. But looking at these places as blueprints, but also go look at how Atlanta and DC were formed as cities as a blueprint when Maynard Jackson took over as the first Black mayor. It's not a joke, but it's just something I really thought about all the time. It's something I thought was true all the time. I always thought mayors of cities were Black, because when I growing up in Atlanta, all the mayors were Black. So I always thought mayors of cities were Black. That's just my naive when I was like, oh yeah, if we go to this city, they're gonna have a Black mayor. Like, that's just what it is. We always have a Black mayor, right? It's what I came up. Yep. We're working on that. I'm working on quantum computing as well too, cryptography, cybersecurity. We have a slew of people to talk about, but I also want to still keep it technical. I still want to keep it job related. I still want to keep this show I still want to keep this show, or not just to show where the technical skills is at and the jobs are at, but how these things over here really are parallel over here as well. You may not realize it, but it is. It The more big tech comes into cities, the more commercial real estate people need, right? And the more they build, and so those contracts go to someone because those people over here want something, right? There are tax benefits and tax breaks that happen on both ends, affordable housing and so forth. Everything is all intertwined, and we're the ones that are like, oh, they're building a new house over there. I'm gonna go buy in the area. Oh, they're building a new theater over there. I'm gonna go to that new theater. I got on a guy friend of mine, and they're talking about opening up something. I was like, well, before you go open it, why don't you go buy the building? Like, stop renovating people's rental properties. Go buy the building. Go buy the building. Why we not buying the building? Stop renovating other people's stuff. Go buy the building. I ain't saying go buy the block. Just go buy I call it a piece of property. Go buy a piece of property. Go buy the building. Right? That way you own the building. No one dictates to you, I sold the building, so now I gotta go move my stuff over here. Right? Go buy the building. Go buy the single, go buy the duplex. Just go buy something. Right? And then look at what these opportunity zones are, because they're going to reevaluate that. They're going to reevaluate that 1031 exchange. There's going to be somebody going to talk about that. That's going to be on the back on the thing again. Like, be the ownership, right? Ownership, right? If you didn't learn anything about founders, and the McDonald's story is about ownership. If you didn't learn nothing from that, and they got robbed of their own company by somebody that looked like them. What's the show with what's the show? Who was it? It was on Apple. It only came out on Apple TV. Was that Taraji show that she did? What was the name of that show? It was a movie. Was it Taraji? I can't remember. I don't remember the name. I don't remember. It wasn't Founders. It was about the two guys. I can't remember that now. Come on up, Game Over. How you doing?
Hey, how you
doing? All right. There you go. We lost you again.
Ma'am, can you hear me? Huh?
I can hear you, but then we lost your video too. I know we lost the video.
See me?
Well, I already seen you, but that's
You
okay.
need to see me?
Nah, hey, if you want the world to see you, cool. If you don't, that's fine.
Okay. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, whatever you prefer.
Let me see who you are. Let the world see who you are. Let's see your magnificent face. There you are.
I ain't too. I'm not too gaunt. I don't look too handsome. Yeah.
You good? You fine? You fine? You got all your teeth. You ain't cross-eyed, and we see you.
Miss Tam, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I need to get started into the tech field, and I'm hungry. I mean, not hungry as in literally hungry, but I live in a rural area. And,
Okay.
there's nothing but woods where I live. You
Okay.
get what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's no opportunity. And I
But
need to network with people like yourself that are in the field that know to give me some type of directions
okay.
with the resources that I have around me that I can utilize that I don't know about.
Got you. So we're gonna have one-on-ones open this week. So I can do a deep dive. I'm not gonna do a deep dive right here with you right now, but we can have a one-on-one where I can do a deeper dive with you, like find out what area you're at, what skills you have that you can already utilize coming into tech, and then that way we can get you going. I can point you to the right people. I can point you to the right resources so we can get you up and running. Like don't start from zero. We don't want to start you from zero. You're human. You already got skills. You already been in the game. We want to take what you already have, manifest them into what we need in tech, and then get you going from that ground up. You just because you're in a rural area doesn't mean anything, right? You don't have to go in to work with some of these jobs. Some jobs you can do remotely. Not it ain't 100% all jobs, but there are some jobs that are out there that are remote that you can work remotely. I got a coworker who lives in Georgia and comes out here to Colorado once a month or once every 2 months to do some work and then go back. So I mean, it's little things like that. Then some people don't even go in the office at all.
Well, Miss Tam, I wanted to admit something to you, reveal something to you. This is my
Uh-oh.
first time live.
This your first time live? That's
yeah,
good.
my first time in my face.
Well, good thing. I'm glad you came up. I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're making the step to move forward. I mean, shout out to you. Because some people, like I say, we got some people that don't even want to get in it, and they're okay with being where they at, and they want to be they want to be where they at. They're gonna die where they at. So you in the game.
Right.
I appreciate you.
But I just need some form of way to. Are you on IG? Can I contact you on IG?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm also on we have Slack. Hit me up, and if you hit us up on Instagram, it's our Women in Linux on Instagram. So if you want to hit me up there, that's fine. And then I can direct you where you need to go and what you need to fill out so we can get you in a one-on-one.
Okay, perfect.
Does that work for you?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, because I'm not used to LinkedIn and those.
That's okay. That's why I have multiple ways for people to contact us to do what we need to do. That's why there's some people we have Clubhouse, some people like LinkedIn, some people like Instagram, some people like YouTube. We have multiple ways to skin a cat. Just make sure you get in the game.
Yes, ma'am. And they also are you into app building? Or do you know how to build apps? I'm not trying to put you on.
No. I don't build apps, but there is a way for low code, no code where you can do it yourself, where you don't even have to know how to code in order to build apps.
Okay, I'm talking about like a YouTube type app.
There are people out there that do that for me, but I don't build YouTube apps or a platform like YouTube. But there are ways you could do that. It'll be a further discussion, like video streaming. You could do that on Amazon. You could do that on Google Cloud or Azure. I take that back. There's actually there's actually an open source version of YouTube that you can download, and you can create your own server in order to start streaming and connect it back up to the cloud. I actually started playing with that, but it is just a matter of an install for that particular one. I think it's called YouTube Stream or something like that, where you can create your own platform. You just got to remember, you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that streaming service, and then create your own YouTube stream, and you can just basically go live on your own stream, your own platform stream. Like you have your own platform.
No, it's not for me, it's for someone that I know that's well known.
Mm-hmm.
He's well known and he's into that, trying to
Okay.
create his own social media.
Tell them to contact me, and we could talk.
Yeah,
I might be an investor. I don't know. We'll see,
yeah.
and we can go from there. You said what now?
But it's been a pleasure, Miss Tam. I mean, only you, even Professor Black Ops and Professor
The
Black
old
Ops,
man of
you
the
couldn't
crew.
get me. You pulled me out the bushes.
Good. I'm glad I pulled you out the bushes. We love to get
Yeah.
more. We love to get more people on stage to talk about their journey, what they're looking for, what they're like. I say, like I'm not here to like sell you no wolf tickets. I'm not. I'm not on. I don't want to be on JT Pocket watching. Like y'all can
Right.
call me out if you want to, but I'm not asking for nothing. I'm asking you to do something to make you better.
Exactly. And
For
I
yourself.
want to be the one. I want to be the first one to start. Hey, when you help make me better at the position I'm at,
Right.
I don't want to do nothing but give back a percentage of whatever I make, because I wouldn't be making that if it wasn't for you. So I want to sign a contract where a percentage of my income comes back to you. You get what I'm
Hey man,
saying?
I hear what you're saying, but I also want you to take
I want to revolutionize it, because think about it. If I'm at zero now and you help me get to 100,000, 300K, I wouldn't have that 300K. So I could afford to give you 10 every year or 20 every year. You get what I'm saying? I'm
I
just
hear
one
you.
person. And
Right.
and
Uh-oh. You breaking
I,
up. Uh-oh. I think we might have lost you. Game over. I guess it was game over for game over. I'm just playing. You broke up. There you go. You in and out. Oh, you breaking up. You may have to come back in on the stream. Oh man, D, you may have to drop him down, D, till he get his internet together. Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Again, I'm just here for you to be a better representation of yourself than what you was the day before, right? I work on myself daily. I am no angel. I am not perfect. I got things I need to work on myself. I got things I need to do for myself. Um, so I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be in the trenches. I know what it's like to feel like you're alone. I know what it's like to start out in tech and not even sure if you're doing the right thing. Is this for me? I know what it's like to cry, to be in those moments like, is this the right thing for me? I know what it's like to lose someone on your journey, right? But the question becomes is, are you gonna stop? And do you have to do it alone? And you don't have to do that alone, right? You don't have to do that alone. Um, I find a lot of people want to do it alone, but you don't have to, right? I see game over. I see you back. You may want to turn your camera
Yep.
off. Turn your camera off so it don't use up your stream. Just turn your camera off. There you go.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. But I'm with you. I hear what you're saying about giving back, but I also encourage you. Giving back to us is one avenue. Also giving back to others that are around you and bringing them in and getting them going is also another way to get other people, because it don't make sense for you to be out there at 100,000 and then all your friends is at 20 or 30,000 and they looking at you, because this is what happens. Because I see it all the time. People get to talking about you. Oh, you think you better than me. Oh, you think you are this than me. And oh, you think you are that than me. And it's not the fact that you think anything, it's the fact that I just live a different lifestyle now. and I see opportunities on the horizon, and I'm about to go get them. So instead of you saying you think you better than me, why don't you just come join me so I can show you what we're doing and go there? And people do it all the time. People do it to me all the time. Oh, you think you better than that? And I get it from family members. Oh, you think you X, Y, and Z. You must be high and mighty now. Oh, you think you you think nothing can't touch you. No, I don't think that. I just think that I put myself in a position where I can pivot and go where I want to go whenever I feel like it. I'm nobody's dictating to me where I want to go or what I can do. I have enough wherewithal to acknowledge to know how to read a contract, how to read a book, how to study, how to do these things in order to get where I want to go. Like, like we just gotta be able to say, look, you may not see you don't see it for yourself, so you can't see it for me, but I see it for me, and I'm getting ready to go over here and do this. In fact, I'm about to go to Whole Foods and pick up like, a couple of groceries or something like that. You want something back? Because when I come back, I'm studying and I ain't got time to talk to you. Which is what you gonna do, right? And that's just how we gotta be. We just gotta be that way. I'm sorry, I mean, and somebody in the comments said, I want to act a fool like Kanye. But you know what? In some cases, Kanye's rants were correct. In some cases, Kanye's rants were correct. Like he said, you don't have all the answers, Sway. We don't have designers like, back then when he was saying we don't, and we really don't now. We don't have housing brands like a Gucci, like a Louis Vuitton. We're just not starting to see some of that. But when we're talking about Louis Vuitton being on the stock exchange and being traded, at an all-time high over the last 3 years, and who are the biggest consumers of Louis, Gucci, MCM, and the rest of them, and we're spending $1.6 trillion, and it ain't in our community, and our dollars only last 3 hours in our community. Come on now, we got work to do. So either we're gonna sit here and try to tear each other down, and when we say 100,000, no offense to nobody, it's no offense. But in the bigger scheme of things, the 100,000, when you're talking about a median renter, like the rents across the United States have gone up 40%. It's cheaper to buy than it is to rent.
Miss Tam, I got a question for you. It's kind of off topic.
Go ahead.
I know you're in tech, and I want you to be honest with me. But did I just set a record?
What you mean?
Was I the first one to break my camera being so ugly?
Nah, no.
Okay.
See, so no. So let me give you a little caveat about me, right? So a little caveat about me. When people come up, I'm not judging you based on what you look like. I'm judging you on how you treat people and how you interact and how you talk to people. If you came up here and you was talking to me crazy, I mean, D would have probably kicked you off, but you just would have been automatically not somebody I would be wanting to interact with. So no, you're fine. Yeah. Don't do that to yourself. When you do that to yourself, it sends signals to others to react to you the same way that you may think about yourself. You're fine.
Yes, ma'am.
You're walking in your path. You're walking in your purpose. Let's continue to move you forward and move the needle forward. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I mean, you're fine. And somebody in the comments said game over is handsome. What you talking about?
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You got the handsome notification.
I don't have anyone to tell me that but trees,
Yeah, I hear you. So you got to build. So you're working on building your circle. You're working on building your circle so you can get pulled into into that circle so you can move forward. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got to start, but not starting is not enough, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I appreciate you for coming up. You look like you're headed somewhere.
Huh?
I said you look like you're
Oh no,
headed somewhere.
that's the highway.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you.
No, ma'am, that's the highway.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for coming up, and
I thank you for having me, Miss Pam.
You're welcome, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, you too. And I'll be in touch.
Okay, thank you. See, what you say in the comments? Some people are critics, but I know who I am. Nobody can control me. I lead by example. Yep, he does have a different level of freedom. He has a different level of freedom in terms of I want to say, as much as people would like to talk about Kanye, he crazy. He do go in and out of his moments, but he has a level of freedom of expression that most people would not dare actually say. Right. And then some people like, well, that's just because he's crazy. Right. So there is that people that would say that, but there's also a rawness and a realness to that level of expression where not a lot of people know that, not a lot of people feel comfortable with that rawness themselves. Not even amongst their peers, not even amongst the people that they're actually cool with. He's on an open broadcast world to be critiqued and to be picked apart and destroyed at every chance possible. And he puts himself on display for that, just as well as I put myself on display for that. But I'm not Kanye at all, by no means. So when you do when you do put yourself out here on YouTube and stuff, you do there is a level of there's a level of critique that you're going to get, and a level of critique that people are going to try to rip you apart for, whether they like you or not, whether they know you or not. And that I don't want to say comes with the territory, but that comes with people. If we want to say that, I don't want to say the territory because it could be anything, but that comes with people. Marshana Clock, you said why? That's sad. Which part is sad? That the people that will pick you apart, people pick you apart all day, every day. D doesn't get the messages. I get the messages. And then when I show them to her, she be mad. But I get the messages. D doesn't get the messages. I get the messages. I get the emails. I get I get the Slacks. I get those messages. I get you know, the words that people, you know, either you don't like us or you like us or you think we're trash or what have you. I get those messages. So and then, you know, you have to consider the source, and you have to look at, I do an analysis on myself to see I do an analysis on myself to see what did I say or do wrong for that person to feel the way they feel or think the way they thought, or was I saying the wrong things. I do an analysis on myself first to make sure that I'm not crazy. And I go back and I listen to my words from time to time. One of the hardest things to do is go back and listen to yourself on YouTube. It's one of the hardest things, but I go back and I listen. And then the other part of that is not only listening, just making sure that, okay, the message that I'm sending was, the words that I used were correct, and the message that I want to send was correct. And it was not to offend, it was to enlighten and to ensure that I was sending the proper message. So I do a check of those things before I speak and before I put together shows, make sure I'm sending the proper message. Because with so much misinformation out here about stuff, that's why I always say, drop the link. I dropped the link. Who what? Like, here's the source. I'm all about the source, right? I don't get up here and tell y'all something, and then don't have a source for it. I'm like, okay, this is what I discovered. Here's where I got that from, and here's the links of here's the links of where that came from, and this is my interpretation of this. Here, you go listen to it. Here, you go read that and tell me what you think your interpretation is. This is my interpretation, and I'm only giving this to you from my standpoint. Right? Yeah. You said you will always offend somebody in order to build a building. What must be done first is you don't mind me asking. When you say that, you said you will always offend somebody in order to build a building. Yeah, you're gonna always somebody's gonna always be uncomfortable with what you're doing because they're not comfortable with them. That's first. And it says, what must be done first, if you don't mind me asking? Just keep building. That's it. All right. You got to stay on your path. But I'm one of the ones that I always look back to make sure, like, maybe they ready. They ain't ready. Okay, well, let me keep going. You ready yet? And then sometimes I don't have to check back because some people are already like, I wasn't ready then, I'm ready now, and so they get in the game then. What I do find is whenever we start something and I'm like, we're going and I'm checking back, people will be like, well, I went ahead and I joined over here. I went over there and joined something, and they doing this over here. So I went over there and joined something, and it's similar to what you doing. And I just didn't want to be a part of your group because I just didn't like you. So I'm gonna go over here and do the same thing you told me to do over there with those folks. It gets quirky, it gets odd, like it gets weird. It gets weird. All right, I know D in the background about to die. So all right, let me get out here. It's 5:19 your time. We started at 2:30. We've been going now for 2 hours and 46 minutes. We'll be back next week. I'm gonna finish up those other two shows. Yeah, I'll probably be on Clubhouse tonight. I'll probably hop on Clubhouse about 9 or 10 or something like that. Y'all time. Get me something to eat and go from there, and then let's get it cracking on Clubhouse. Last time I was on Clubhouse, it was a big argument. You know, Clubhouse is where people go to argue. So hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's what it is. But yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Those that are attending the Wednesday class, we'll see you on Wednesday. Those that are coming back next Saturday, we'll see you next Saturday. For those that are looking for the one-on-ones, hopefully me and Dee get together. Hopefully we open up on Monday, if not Monday, Tuesday. But be on the lookout for those. We'll make an announcement in Slack. We'll probably have something set up on our web page or something like that. But most definitely be on the lookout. Just Jay, I have not forgotten you. We appreciate you, Val, for coming up. Game Over, we appreciate you for coming up. Don't forget to sign up for the one-on-ones. Miss Val, don't forget to talk to your grandkids about tech and music and how they intersect. Go look up 21 Savage, his and how he was able to get his Spotify app spun up and created, and they paid for it, and how he is in doing investments. Go look at Jermaine Dupri just came out with vegan ice cream. There are many investments all over. There are many people that are doing great things. Don't think that we're not doing great things, but those are entertainers. We have to do great things in our little bubble, in our little space, and build each other up. All right. Until then, I'll see y'all next week. Y'all take care and make sure you love on each other.